Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, my faithful followers. Do you want the confidence to lead like a boss? Today's episode is kind of about leading like a boss, only not. In my opinion, leaders are leaders, and that's not the same as being a boss. But we do want to lead well. Part of leading well means building confidence. That's difficult to do, especially if you're new to leadership or if you are a perfectionist, a people pleaser, a high achiever, etc., etc. So how do you go about building confidence in your leadership? Well, today we're talking about a few places to start. If you are anything like me, building confidence as a leader is a journey that I'm still on.
Welcome to the Grace-Filled Leader Podcast. Do you want better work-life balance? Do you get stuck in patterns of perfectionism and people-pleasing? Have you always been an overachiever, but never really feel good enough, no matter how much outward success you achieve? Hi, I'm Tanya, a wife, mom, leader, Christian life coach, and Jesus lover. For most of my life, I tried to find worthiness through achievement. But no matter how hard I worked or how much I achieved, I never felt like I was enough. I was left burned out, empty, and exhausted. I had no time or energy for myself or my family. I needed balance. I needed peace. I finally started to live like an unconditionally loved daughter of the King, saved by grace. This faith-led podcast will teach you self-care routines and practical leadership strategies to help you navigate life and leadership. If you're ready to stop people-pleasing and start living and leading God's way, this podcast is for you. Unbutton your blazers and roll up your sleeves, sister friends. It's time to get after it.
Okay, so we all know those people who just seem to command the room, right? Or maybe they don't command the room, but they seem to be very confident in their decision making and in their leadership. Well, how did they get that way? Some people seem to just come out of the womb with confidence. Now, don't confuse arrogance with confidence. I'm talking about a level of confidence that is not boastful, but is secure and reassuring. Chances are, people that seem to exude confidence had opportunities and positive reinforcement as young people to exercise their administrative talents, thus building confidence over time. But that isn't true for everyone. Some of us start out as far more reluctant in our leadership journeys. I know I certainly did not have great confidence in my leadership abilities when I was a new leader. At least not once I was actually on the hot seat and saw what it was really like. When you're on the outside looking in, it's easy to see all of the ways in which you might change things for the better, or how you would lead a group of people. But trust me when I say, things are not always as cut and dry when you get behind the wheel of that bus. We all have to start somewhere. And I'm going to suggest a few things that help me build confidence from a practical and tactical standpoint. First of all, you need to invest in yourself and your own learning. Take time to read books, take courses, research leadership skills and habits of great leaders. Even if you never get a formal leadership role, some of the fundamental skills in leadership are extremely helpful and applicable to all aspects of life, especially in regards to communication and relationships. And if you show a drive to learn about leadership before becoming a leader, your odds of being given an opportunity to lead are much higher. A willingness to invest in your own time and resources in self-development is a strong indicator of your willingness to invest in a team. I can tell you, in interviewing people for frontline leadership positions, that has sometimes been the deciding factor when choosing a candidate. If all things come out pretty equal, but one candidate has shown efforts to build their knowledge and skill as an informal leader on their own time and on their own dime, while the other person has not, I am 100 times more likely to select the candidate who has shown that initiative towards self-development. There are so many great resources out there, so take advantage of them. I've been a leader for 16 years and I'm constantly seeking to learn and build my leadership skills. The second thing I would suggest is to talk to other leaders. Find a mentor that you respect or a colleague who's a bit further down the road than you are and has some wisdom to offer. Many times, they will be able to share things that have proven successful for them or mistakes they've made that you could learn from and try to avoid. Mistakes are often the best teachers, especially if you're willing to own up to them, learn from them, and move forward with courage. Another reason to find trusted colleagues to share with is that they can often be very reassuring when you're struggling with self-doubt. You may be magnifying things out of proportion in your own mind, or you may find that they have similar periods of self-doubt and you don't have to feel alone in your struggle. It is far more advisable and appropriate to share your struggles with colleagues in similar roles versus unloading too much on those you lead. While you should most definitely show some vulnerability, humility, and always authenticity to your team, if your focus is all on your worries and weaknesses, they will struggle to feel reassured and confident in your abilities to lead them. Or they may try to take advantage of your insecurities. There's certainly a healthy balance you need to find between transparency and appropriate levels of discretion with your team members. The third recommendation I have to build confidence in your leadership is to gain self-awareness. I find some of the strengths inventories helpful to identify where your strengths and opportunities for development are. You also learn more about yourself from others. Create a safe space for people to share feedback. This is a challenging and sometimes very vulnerable position to put yourself in, but it can give you a tremendous amount of insight about how you are perceived by team members. I have discovered that there is a very wide degree to which people do and do not have a keen sense of self and how they are perceived by others. If you welcome feedback, your team members will likely be more receptive to receiving feedback themselves, and they may offer you more grace when you stumble. The fourth suggestion I have for you is similar to the third. Seek to develop your emotional intelligence. Practice self-awareness. Work on being responsive rather than reactive to conflict or criticism. Be an active listener. In fact, try listening more than you speak. Be empathetic and engaged, but maintain appropriate boundaries. And do your best to manage negative emotions. This greatly reduces your risk of getting overwhelmed, and it helps others to do the same. And finally, my fifth tip for today, fake it till you make it, to some degree. In other words, speak with intention and confidence. Carry yourself with confidence and a positive attitude. If you don't know something, be honest about it, but show willingness to find the answer. Don't be arrogant, but be professional. When in doubt, before responding to something, take a moment to just pause and think about your response. It is far better to take a little extra time than to put something out into the world that you wish you could reel back in. But don't worry, we all do that once in a while too. We are flawed human beings after all. Just own it. Don't try to cover it up. Mess up, fess up, and move on. People prefer truth over pretension. So, there are a few tips that have helped me in my leadership. Let's quickly review my top 5 tips to build confidence in your leadership. Number 1, learn more about leadership. Invest in yourself. Number 2, talk to other leaders or find a leader mentor. Number 3, gain self-awareness. Inventory your strengths and your opportunities for growth. Number 4, develop your emotional intelligence. And number 5, speak with confidence, regardless of how you feel on the inside. Fake it till you make it. That's the word from me today, folks. Until next time, may you be grateful and grace-filled.
I pray this episode blessed you, spoke to you, or encouraged you in some way. If so, please share it with a friend and head on over to Apple Podcasts to leave me a review. That's the only way for me to know if you're enjoying the show. Nothing blesses me more than to hear from you. Also, come on over to our free Facebook community. This is a great place for us to support one another on our faith and leadership journeys. You can find the link to the group in the show notes or go to gracefilledleader.com/community. If you have questions or content ideas for the show, please send me a message on SpeakPipe or via email. Go to gracefilledleader.com/contact and leave a written or voice recorded message. I would love to know how I can best serve you on the podcast. Now to Him who can do immeasurably more than we can ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us. Ephesians 3, verse 20. Until next time, my friends, God bless.